Since 2005, thousands of civilians are dead. Today, it is considered the world's worst humanitarian catastrophe. Between 10 to 12 million people could very soon be dead due to starvation. No, I'm not talking about Syria. I'm talking about Yemen, the forgotten Yemen. The Yemen that was called one day the happy Yemen. After 2015, in March 2015, when the Saudi-led coalition waged a brutal war against Yemen, this beautiful country turned to ashes. Now tens of countries are fighting against Yemen. You might not know this information, but I'm just gonna count the countries that are bombing or contributing in bombing Yemen or supplying weaponry to the bombers and the aggressors of Yemen. Saudi Arabia is leading this operation against Yemen. Behind Saudi Arabia, there is the United Arab Emirates. We have Bahrain, we have Kuwait. Until 2017, Qatar was also in this campaign. Egypt, unfortunately. Jordan, Morocco, Senegal, Sudan. From these countries, we have fighters in Yemen, and they are bombing Yemen now. Only a few days ago, Pompeo said that Saudi Arabia should stop its bombing campaign in highly populated areas. Only yesterday and today, Saudi Arabia is bombing in highly populated areas as if the MBS and the other leaders in Saudi Arabia are challenging the United States, although the United States is able to stop this madness if they want to. Besides these countries that I mentioned that are bombing Yemen, we have a lot of countries supplying weapons and intelligence support to Saudi Arabia and other aggressors. On top of the list comes the United States, of course. We also have the United Kingdom, we have Australia, we have Turkey, we have Canada, we have Al-Qaeda fighting with the Saudi coalition against the Yemenis. We have Spain, we have South Korea, we have Malaysia, we have Brazil, Finland, Pakistan, Bosnia, Djibouti, Eritrea, Somalia, France, and Germany. Only a few days ago, Angela Merkel said that they're going to stop the weapons supply to Saudi Arabia. No, not because Saudi Arabia is bombing Yemen. Because Saudi Arabia, or the leaders, the MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince, he ordered the assassination of a journalist, Khashoggi. Inside the consulate of Saudi Arabia in Turkey, this so-called civilized world was raged, and they were very angry by this crime. Of course, it's a crime. And I totally condemn this atrocity because I'm against such violence against people who are using only their pen. Although this guy Khashoggi was supporting Al-Qaeda, was supporting ISIS in Syria. But I don't want to see Khashoggi beheaded, slaughtered, or melted by acid, as the reports are now indicating. The world is raged by this one person dead, but they're not raged by thousands of people, and now up to 12 million people could be dead of starvation. Cholera is spreading in Yemen. Nobody is talking about these things. I'm checking the media outlets. Very few reports talking about Yemen. Why? Because it's the United States and its allies are behind this war. If this war was launched by any other country, let's say Russia, there would have been sanctions against Russia, there would have been condemnation, there would have been UN Security Council meetings. What are these governments are doing now? stop Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is acting like an evil country in not only in the region but in the entire world. They're not only exporting the ideology of ISIS and Al-Qaeda, but also killing the people of Yemen. They are supplying the weapons and the ammunition to terrorist groups in the region. But Trudeau says that we can't stop the weapon supplies to Saudi Arabia because economy comes first. This is a message to those people who glorify this Trudeau personality, that he is such a brilliant guy. This is so pity. Now I have with me Marwa Osman. She is a journalist based in Lebanon, and she was extensively covering the situation in Yemen. Marwa, the floor is yours.
You are right there, Kevork, and I agree with you 100% because several UN reports have now been stating that Yemen is in dire situation. Yemen is maybe the worst humanitarian case in history, has been registered by several UN institutions and several NGOs as well that reported and registered the number of deaths and the amount of extreme famine that is hitting more than 13 million Yemenis during this past year alone. I mean, for over 3 years now, the so-called US Saudi-backed coalition in Yemen has carried out a policy that directly attacks the very existence of innocent children and women on several fronts without even any military objective there is. So any sort of weaponry that's being helped or given or sold to this monarchy, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia by any country, let alone be Germany for that matter, is complicit. It is complicit with the tragedies and with the deaths and with the famine that's hitting this country because of the blockade that has been there for the past 4 years, the aerial, the sea and the land blockade imposed by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I mean, according to the Legal Center for Rights and Development, there are over 2,000 women and 3,000 children that have been killed from airstrikes alone over the past 4 years. And this is a huge number. And these women and children are dying because of the bombs that are falling on the heads of these civilians, of these women and children. And these bombs are either US made or European made, of which are many made in Germany. So I do applaud, first of all, the halt of selling weapons or the decision to stop selling weapons to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. But what I want as well from the German public is to acknowledge that their government has been for the past 4 years aiding Saudi Arabia to wreak havoc inside of Yemen, to kill all these people, and hence have a firm stance against this decision and maybe push for an ongoing decision to stop arming Al Saud and also to stop supporting them in the international community and to pressure them to stop the deadly war on Yemen, which has absolutely no reason to continue to begin with. So please, not only stop selling the weapons, also hold everyone responsible, complicit to what's going on in Yemen if they decide to continue supporting this regime.
Now, as you heard by Marwa, the situation is catastrophic in Yemen and we have to do something about it. If you live in Western governments and your government is involved in this war, you have to call your representatives in the parliament, in the officials that you voted, or you can share this video and you have to use the hashtag Stop the War on Yemen. We have to raise the awareness of what's going on in Yemen and we have to stop this catastrophe, because if we don't act now, I'm talking about millions of people could die due to the starvation. I'm Kevork Almasian of Syrian Analysis, and as I promised you, I will always be a voice for the oppressed people and the people who are suffering by these arrogant and imperialistic policies of the United States and its allies. See you next time.